Keeping myself occupied. Oh, I am doing something. Well, I am keeping myself occupied. But whatever's going on here. Oh, ah, that's what's going on. Seems like this thing's recording me. Hello, recording machine. Diary, is that you? It is. Since life is still turning and life must go on, so must I with the show. Anyway, welcome to Miner's Madness. This is James. Kiwi's inside. So for anybody stopping by, if you don't mind taking a chance to look at that video, share it, post it so other people can look at it and comment. There's a reason, and I'll show you the reason when I'm done yammering. The safe of the train that is Miner's Madness. And as we're still rolling and keep on rolling, we'll start with this: Forrest, Fenn, and matching stories to a map. And that would be today's title. Oh, there's secrets. There's all kinds of secrets. I got another good secret though, but I'll share that later on. So, my composition book. Let's see. We're always digressing, aren't we? So the Forrest, Fenn, the thrill of the chase, and matching stories to a map. I'm trying to find, or was trying to find, that elusive hiding spot that was secreted away by Forrest, Fenn with a bunch of wealth. And along with that wealth just happened to be one of these things. Take a gander at that. That's for you all beautiful peoples. That's an $1885 gold piece from the Forrest, Fenn's Thrill of the Chase, as you can see there. And in an effort to raise awareness for all kinds of different things, especially mental health, there's a video that is linked at the top for your chance to get this puppy on the 14th drawing, along with some of these other goodies, which I'll go over here in a minute. So, in case everybody, welcome to the depot, the train depot. If I don't say hi, and if I did say hi, and if I forget to say hi, I forgot to say hi. With that out of the way, welcome. The train's always moving. Don't forget to throw your coins out on the track in case you want to make something shiny go splat, and then become sharp. It's a good way. One of the things I'm going to bring up today is the whiteboard of death, which I love. And then, what else am I going to go over? Oh, the poem-ish and stories-ish. Yeah, connecting-ish. So grab a drink. I got me some tea. Ran out of... So, in case people know or don't know, never was into football. My wife ended up likes football. I'm from Massachusetts, so she told me I should be a Patriots fan. My wife likes the Raiders, so she was told to pick a team, and that happened to be the team on TV or something, and she picked it. So there's a battle. Water, healthy stuff. But I got some tea that we made. Sad part is, ran out of white sugar, so I had to use brown sugar. So brown sugar in tea versus white sugar, there's actually a difference in the taste. Is what? Do they use molasses when they're making brown sugar, or no? Or is brown sugar uncooked sugar? Or is it cooked sugar? Oh, we don't know. So, I was going through, and so like the whole journey that we're on is how or why did people get as close as they did to where a chest may or may not have been in the wilderness, national forest, or a state park, etc. And so in doing so, I've been compiling a list of probabilities. And when I say a list of probabilities, it's more so just a list of places Forrest has mentioned that he's gone. And that's what I was doing is, especially, it's really page, what was it? Chapter 23, Flywater, has a lot of locations. But the majority of the states that or stories I've went through, there's a lot of Texas in there. And it got me looking. I'm like, I'm all looking at my boards because I like whiteboards. Who don't like whiteboards? This guy don't like whiteboards. But I was noticing a trend on the states that were having um, chapters, and it's almost like there's a 50-50 split. And what I mean by that is half of the book, in a sense, to me, was describing his younger years, the things that he did. And then I noticed that like the other portion of the book, you had a lot of New Mexico. You know what I mean? So it's the comparison of states that Forrest mentions that he's been in versus, Montana, Wyoming, and then New Mexico. Sorry, Coloradoans, that I don't have one single story on Colorado that Forrest mentions by, street name, town name, location on a map. So is it possible Forrest Fenn could hit a treasure chest in Colorado? Yes, it's very possible. But for the sole purpose and sake of this adventure, we're confined. Forests don't exist yet. We're confined to the thrill of the chase, the poem, and a map, which I guess, which leads me to the next step in which I'm partaking in this journey. Is so I've already got the chapters broken down and what states are in them, right? Now I come up to the poem. And so with the poem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out each stanza, I guess on a page, since there's 4 lines. For instance, wrong page. The poem, there it is, the poem. For instance, as I have gone alone in there. And the idea that I'm going to do now is, like I did, is I went online and I started learning the words and different ways it could be used, etc., etc. Now, I understand, according to Forrest, or thereafter, don't mess with this poem. Which I think learning about words and the different uses and meanings isn't necessarily messing with the poem, but rather exploring the possibilities beyond a single word meaning. For instance, like line 2 of the first stanza, as I go through and I'm looking up the definitions, treasures, I'm going to look up treasures and see what treasures actually the Webster Dictionary says it is, or the different ways it could be used. I mean, yes, stuff that was throughout the centuries as currency, as treasures that people have hidden, stuff, etc. But one of the greatest treasures I think people have or attain or like is the mental treasure that they get along the journey. For instance, like this beautiful puppy little of a ring. Oh, you can't see that because my head's in the way. Let's see. Oh man, Manta. Somebody's calling me. DirecTV. I don't know why DirecTV calls me when I'm no longer a customer of DirecTV. They're always sitting there calling me from all these different numbers. I hate it. So, for instance, there's this like silver ring-ish, I guess, and it's hard to tell if that's mother or pearl on that, or what is the what's on it. I like the banding that they did around that rope banding that's around there. But maybe to somebody this was valuable, you know what I mean? It probably had strong sentimental value to that person, and maybe it was an engagement ring or a promise ring, etc. Oh, I'm showing this because I'm giving this ring away. It's all part of that comment picker thing that's linked at the top. So, giving it away. There's a song, Give It Away. But I'm thinking on the lines of like Forrest Fenn. And he had a story that he was trying to share, and thus he used materialistic things that he knew would entice people to go searching for a treasure. But on the side note, unwillingly, they ended up searching for a whole bunch of different things, I guess, It almost fits on my pinky, so it's probably a small little girl's ring or something. But yeah, for me though, it's got a sentimental story. I found this at the Hot Springs State Park in Thermopolis, Wyoming, while melody detecting with my friend Russ, who introduced me to the thrill of the chase. And so from that, I was able to at least have one last visit with his father and him before his father passed away. So I mean, things work out when we least expect it, and sometimes the things we find, we actually have to get up and go look, or else I would have never found this had I not moved to go looking for it. So I'm breaking down the word. So like treasure, could be memories and the mental places that I would think Forrest Fenn treasured the most. And the reason why I say that is there's a trend in which he tells stories. There's breakdowns, I think, logical way that he explains his life, but also an emotional and metaphysical way in which he explains his life or his journey, a path he blazed through life. See, again, that word blaze. Blaze is you can have different meanings for blaze, right? My blaze was a rock that had, for me, sentimental and emotional and physical ties that you could cross lines with. So, I guess the next two steps on this train ride, as I re-explore my adventure in which I was mentally looking at the thrill of the chase, is going through the poem and writing down the different meanings and different perspectives, and maybe even I added a map that shows storylines on where you could match stories to a map using the thrill of the chase and Too Far to Walk. Yeah. So, Cody. So somebody saying Cody, time spent in nature is immeasurable. We knew that nature heals all wounds. Time spent with others or on the trail heals without even knowing it, which is true. How do y'all currently uploading what I've done by Lincoln Park cover on the YouTube channel? Nice. Spiritual high, Amy high. Oh, we got some train rides today. Oh, in case I forgot to mention, don't forget your pillow and your blanket in case you start to get dozy off from my yammering. But don't forget to keep my eyes wide awake because I'll be popping some things up. Just non-sentimental things that has a strong sentimental value, which I can see why Forrest did what he did. So, the poem, breaking down, I guess, the poem and the words in ways that I could apply sentences that he used, and how would I apply that to a map? So I had to find a story that maybe best lines up with some of the words that he was using. I know, like, he uses secret fishing spot. I can keep my secret where. I use simple things kind of like that, keeping it in the box of, well, maybe this has something to do with this. A line in the poem saying he was able to keep his secret where, but yet in the book, he's got pictures or he's mentioning secret spots. For example, in like Flywater, because a lot of people may or may not know, I'm not a 9-mile holer. I'm a Forrest Fenn shadower. That's how I look at it. Because, and I say that very affirmatively and with such positivity, because there is for me, there'd be no treasure if there was no poem. There'd be no poem if there was no thrill of the chase. And there'd be no thrill of the chase if there was no Forrest. I think, like cooking, cakes. We talk about cakes and stuff and ingredients. The bigger picture. When people like myself dove into, hey, why must I go? Um, I think people like myself dove in a sense of like, if all I need is the poem to look for this chest. Oh, let's go jump in. You know what I mean? Um, and then having to go back and overread the book, especially when he's saying Forrest himself wrote more than once, there's stuff within these pages, and within these pages is more than one page, which the poem's only on one page, so I had to go back and reread the book. And when I first read it, it was a logical sense in which I was looking at it. Logically, where could this possibly be, Hence, logically, I was writing down the places that he could be, which, along with deconstructing the poem from like an architectural point of view, to understand in a sense how it was built. Learning about Forrest was key in part of that. Um, so the next step, I guess, it's a mixed step on the direction in which this train goes. One is it's going through a poem and expressing the words and figuring out what the words are. The next also step is taking these stories, which I gotta do some highlighting. I got some maps. Who don't like maps, right? I know I like maps. You see the connection right here, peoples? This is what I'm going to be doing for a minute. Now, I can either do this, live or not. I don't know if people even care. I don't know. Maybe some point in time. It depends. People usually like to see let's get to the point, mister. You know what I mean? No. We won't burn the map. Won't burn the map. But, so, I know my wife wasn't very happy that I did this, but I had, because it's for sake of argument. Oh my God. Now, I had gone and purchased, that's a lot of reading. I was telling somebody, I think it was Why Must I Go? I don't like reading. That's a lot of sections to sit there and try to go back and forth from state to state. But I have a secret weapon. I wonder what that secret weapon is. That would narrow this down. I'll give you a hint. It starts with an F, and the second part of it ends with an N. My secret weapon is, I got Forrest Fenn. Hairs from the animals. Pets. Stupid pets. So my secret weapon is I got Forrest Fenn because Forrest Fenn, he wrote a book describing where he's been on these stories, and now I can take those stories. I'll have to go back through the book, of course, but I can take those stories, and now I can sit there. I could circle the towns. I could try to circle the street. Maybe I could try to get close enough to something, a building. I don't know. That's where the other maps would come in handy, especially this other book. But just for argument's sake, it'd be interesting to see. And I'll put these little tabs on there, right there, so I got screws on the wall, and I have all four of these hanging. So that I can just highlight and see a path. So that's like a phase 2, 3. So deconstructing the poem and its words and applying the words to the thrill, the chase. Or am I applying stories to words in the poem and then applying that to a map, which is the whole part of this process that we're going through. or I'm going over, doing it again, doing it again with other people. Other people along for the train ride, they're looking in the window saying, what kind of train is this? It's a crazy train. Crazy train where the conductor just is, don't worry about the conductor. So, yeah, that's kind of the next steps in which I'm going to go, is trying to work on the poem, because that part was easy, you know, just most of it was looking up definitions and trying to apply either stanzas or lines that would best match with stories in the thrill of the chase. And I think matching those two up would give me a bigger picture, so to speak. And I think that comes in handy, especially when you're going with Wyoming and Montana, especially with Yellowstone. And I only bring up Yellowstone and Montana because there's a lot of stories in which Forrest talks about Yellowstone. And there's stories that he talks about Temple, Texas, and there's stories he talks about living in New Mexico. 3 big places that have an impact, I think, on Forrest Fenn's life. So, following his shadow is what we're gonna do. And so I ended up getting this little book right here. It's the Greater Yellowstone and Grand Teton. So, as far as writing or labeling, I can sit there and at least for as far as the page, all the spending and stuff. Oh, I hate pending. God, it's blah blah. I was really interested in this. If I can take this and then I can put those places on a map, would it be possible for the lines of the poem to then become, let's say, the lines of the poem would become more, almost more like the trail, the breadcrumbs. Oh, Hansel and Gretel, right? He's leaving hints. Okay, so this is just my thought and my opinion. He's leaving that. Oh no, there goes the whiteboard. He's leaving hints in the poem that would lead you to stories in the thrill of the chase, to include maybe a spot where he shows a bunch of pictures, and all of a sudden you can put a bunch of little circles on a map, and then, I don't know, maybe it would line out. I don't know. We'll find out together or alone. It don't matter. I've started this journey. I must finish it. Or do I? I've already finished it. So I'm replaying it again. Oh, this is like rewind for y'all. So, yeah. So it'll be interesting to look at that poem, learn the definitions of some of those words, and try to make lines cross between, for me, a physical and a metaphysical places that Forrest Fenn has been, has thought about going, and maybe in death has met everybody else. And I say that because of page 15, through the thrill of the chase. Oh, I mentioned the whiteboard of death. So, to make this make more sense, come here, whiteboard of death. The whiteboard of death. Oh, stupid light. Oh, hey, look at that. That's way better. So, I've noticed that in my compilation book, I wrote down as I gone through, for example, it's got the title, and then it's got a year, an age, and then it's the location. The location is the spots that got a lot of writing right there. See, that's the location. And so it makes sense to mark on Forrest Fenn's lifeline. Forrest Fenn is blue to mark down, okay, Forrest Fenn at this age was at this location. Forrest Fenn at this age was this location. Forrest Fenn at this age was here. And you'll see that the younger half is Yellowstone. The older half is New Mexico. But the thrill of the chase encompasses it all. Or does it? I don't know. Find out when I just keep on yammering. And so I think it's important because it shows what time frame was Forrest Fenn trying to focus or relay to me, is the sense that I'm going with that. So I'm going to have to adjust this whiteboard and put some years and some dates on there to see how many times at least it comes up. Because it's, like I said, the book is showing a younger Forrest and then the older Forrest of how to comprehend the entirety of the younger and older and the thrill of the chase. In a sense. Yeah. But that's kind of the direction to make it seem like it's not a question of were you able to find Forrest Fenn's chest anymore. That's an answer that nobody will be able to answer because it is now in the hands. But there is still joy in knowing that as a searcher, any searcher who was able to put themselves within the same shadow spots that Forrest Fenn has described, especially within the thrill of the chase, other stories or other books beyond, I mean, is interesting stuff, which I bring up because of this. So I've already, just the thrill of the chase, we've got states, and we got 3 states, particular, Colorado. But the thrill of the chase was a storyline that Forrest, I think, shared the most passionate stories, the most meaningful stories, and the most interconnected stories. So apparently, I guess there's what's called Rambling and Rumbling 1.0 and 2.0. Now, for the sake of this journey and this train ride, never give a solve. He told me it was an email that even without the chest, you can still prove a solve, right? If you could get, obviously, if you get to the same spot as the chest was, then that's even better. But now everybody knows where the chest is. It's like, well, did your solve, how close did your solve get you to where Forrest had been? And again, everybody's solve or their solution to trying to solve a mystery, if you can answer that you're close to Forrest in the shadow, I mean, that's cool. That is cool enough for me, you know what I mean? It's cool enough for a story that as a searcher, you were that close, you know what I mean? I wear that as a badge of honor, that I was that close, yet so far away. But my reasonings and where I got and where I searched are different than those of other people's, obviously. But it's always interesting to see how people have gotten to where they have gotten. Well, I don't know about that, but if I continue this train ride, it'll be interesting. So, in case people don't know, so I have right there, that's the map of the 4 states in the poem. Can't read it because it's blurry, but I've got stickers here, and there's Kiwis Road. There's F for Forrest Fenn. It's upside down, so I mean it could be like, I don't know, living life. I got the P for the poem, as in like where can we apply the poem. A is all other information, and then the triangle is, you know, how do I get from here to there and connect all three. So through this journey, as I do the poem, I've already read The Thrill of the Chase. I've highlighted stuff that I felt connected the poem to the stories, and I can connect the stories to a map showing Forrest Fenn's life journey. But man, the wife got mad because I sat there and I either wasted ink or didn't waste ink. But I've been trying to find for the longest time Rumblings and Ramblings 1.0, and I finally found it and ended up printing it out. So there's a word that goes out around, and I like the word confirmation bias. So it would be interesting to see, and this place, and the reason why I mentioned this is there's an importance to this, is to see what stories Forrest Fenn has, in a sense, relived, retold, revisited, rewrote, reimagined, re-whatever. Obviously, it's re-something, right? So Forrest had if this is connected, that he's relaying a message again that he tried to relay in The Thrill of the Chase. So he come out with something, a little updated, a little bit short version maybe for people to read and try to better understand Forrest, which I look forward to reading, but I definitely don't look forward to reading because I hate with a passion reading. And it's not to say that I can't read. I don't like reading. It's too much for my brain. My brain's small and feeble as it is. But apparently, and this is bringing up a point, is repetition. And it's important because just like The Thrill of the Chase and the poem was a repetitive story that he no longer had to write. Then again, he rewrote it in apparently Rumblings and Ramblings or Ramblings and Rumblings 1.0, but apparently the Forrest Fenn biography is like here's a taste. It's got whatever's in there. Now I'm gonna have to grab a magnifying glass and my glasses. I might as well get one of those video scopes just so I can put it on the big TV and be able to read it. That's not a bad idea. Nobody tell the wife. I'm gonna go get me one of those things just so I can do that. If Forrest Fenn talks about stories in here, would they match up with the same stories that he wrote in this one? And would those stories match up with the same stories in here? And for me, if I have a general location that still matches up to where I was searching along the Madison, to me that would be my confirmation bias within Forrest Fenn's own little universe, excluding Forrest Fenn being alive. But that's down the road, and that's a lot of reading, and I don't look forward to it. But I want to try and see whether I skim through it all, you know what I mean? But my place in connection was a journey that a father and son took through the summers and whatnot. Anyway, so that is the direction in which this train's going to be going for a while. And seeing as how people are dropping out, now's the good time to start doing the other good stuff-ish, which won't last that long. Or will it? Alright, there's people in the chat. Feel free to give a holler if you'd like to, or not. It's okay. Sorry if I don't read your chat, even though I'm trying to read some of it. But I know it gets me digressed a lot. So I like to just bore people by reading stupid stuff, saying stupid stuff, or show and tell. I've run over what's next. So Forrest Fenn and matching stories to a map is the next step in which I'm going. Taking those stories, putting them on a map, drawing lines, and seeing what and where parts of the poem could fit on a map according to where Forrest Fenn has been. by the thrill of the chase. So that's the journey. That's the train ride. But on the train ride, we also have show and tell. In case anybody likes show and tell, if you're hanging out, we'll do some show and tell. Anybody want to see some show and tell? Stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. Nobody wants to see this stuff. I know they don't. But at the top, there's a... People already may or may not know. There's a video that's linked there. It's a comet picker drawing video. Share it, please, to let other people have a chance. At a chance of something. And hopefully, at the very least, it puts a little bit of hope in somebody's day so that they can wait for the rest of their life for a comet picker that may or may never happen, for a chance to win a Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase coin, which is that one right there. So, there's that. I'm going to show and tell. So we've kicked off show and tell. So I'm going to just show like the 14th comet picker what they're getting. There's trinkets along the way. Along the journey, people will also, the winners of them 14 random comets plus 2, which everybody's still eligible for the other 2. There's a 25,000 and a 70,000 comet picker. Everybody who's won or might still gets entered into those three drawings. The 14th, the 25,000, and the 70,000. But the 14 comet winners, the 14, I went and I had picked up some of these 1 ounce silver bars to give out for each of those 14. Unfortunately, when I went back, they had no more. So the first 7-ish winners get the 1 ounce bar. But I went down to the coin shop and I picked up some other. Well, this is Sunshine State 1988. So there's over here in Idaho. There's a mining company. Sunshine Mining, and this is a 1 ounce coin. So the other half of winners up will get a coin, and the lower half will get the bar. So it was, I tried to get so it was even, but still 1 ounce is 1 ounce, right? And these are prettier anyway. Plus, it's got the history of Idaho mining in Idaho, silver. I thought it was more. I was like, you know what? I'll do that for the other half. Because it has the mining history. And for us, it's all about hunting history. And part of hunting history is learning new stories and new adventures from other people, etc. If people don't share their life adventures and life stories, then life kind of gets stagnant and learning becomes harder. But yeah. Oh. And this all started off because I was giving away just a $1 gold coin, but they're not real gold. They're only brass plated, or they're brass. I don't even think they're gold plated. Just stamped brass. 2000s. What is this? 2000? Oh. And so it was like, as a fisherman, fishing is it's an art and a skill. Ooh, fishing is a skillful art, right? And sometimes if you want to bait, you got to bait good. Like Forrest Fenn did. He baited people into looking for something. And upon looking for something, he baited them into learning stuff, knowingly or unknowingly. And I think it was a cool way to do it. And it's like, well, nobody's really going to go hippy-hoppy for, a $1 gold coin. So that's where I started upping the ante a little bit, as per they say. Because Forrest Fenn has taught a valuable lesson. Advertisement. Now, is it good or bad? Well, it depends. I like it. We'll advertise anyway. So part of history is like stuff like this. So his fat head is in the way. Like this. So this is a Spanish pirate copper cob. Well, this one's 16 23. So that's with the 14th random comment. But that's 114,000 comments that I need to reach on a video, which is taking a long time. And the last time I checked, there was only 91 comments on there. So I haven't even gotten to the fourth comment picker. So each one I put in a copper cob, and they have dates on them, so that it's the history that I hope people will appreciate, maybe, or even admire, just for a split second. Because I mean, this was in somebody's hands, somebody's pockets, sailing, not sailing. It's just, there's stories behind these. You know what I mean? But I mean, some of this other stuff is just, it's silver just for the medals, designs just for the designs. But I mean, if somebody needed to get a few bucks and they didn't have anything and they were on their last, they could always just take their silver and go sell it. You know what I mean? But I think that the most precious one would be this one, and I think that's why it's held out to the last one, because you can there's millions of these, or hundreds of thousands, or whatever of these, but there's only a certain limited amount of coins that were part of the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. And being a searcher, and having the ability and afforded the time to go looking, was awesome for me, and something I totally appreciate. And so, in return, I'm reusing Forrest's idea, in a sense, to one perspective of if there's an idea worth risking at all. That's what I'm trying to do. Is I have an idea in my head, and it's worth risking it all, in a sense, And so, yeah, it's out there for people to make a comment on a video, and it's there. Well, it's actually here, sitting and waiting inside the safe of the train depot station, and it's well guarded, and so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I got two types of doors at my house. One of them's a welcome door, and the other one's a lead door. And lead doors are for people who aren't welcome or invited. But people who are welcome or invited, they get the good door, if you know what I mean. It's the stories and adventures that we share. And I look forward to making some more stories and adventures to share. And there's some big ones out there that I'm trying to get rolling around. People may not even know, but there's a Los Padre mine down in El Paso, Texas, in the Franklin Mountains. Supposedly has a bunch of silver and gold bars. And I was watching Fool's Gold with my wife the other day. She knows it's one of my favorite movies, just because it ties into the history that I was looking into, to see if a story like the Thrill of the Chase was possible or true. And by following the who, what, where, when, and whys, just like the Thrill of the Chase, because you have to ask yourself these questions. If you're looking for a chest out there, that's the what, right? The location is where people do, but there's still more to the story besides those two things. There's the rhyme and reason, the who behind it. The who was Forrest Fenn. Had to learn about Forrest Fenn. Why did he do some of the things he did? He shared in the Thrill of the Chase why he did some of the things he did, and even shared some of the things that he learned along the way and along this journey. So it's interesting to see what people bring when they share their stories and stuff, because it's worth learning what somebody else has to offer. So, yeah, silver up for grabs, some trinkets up for grabs, and all that is up for grabs on that video there at the top. And as this train ride goes, I'm gonna, like I said, go through the thrill of the chase, the poem, and try to dissect it a little bit, figure out some of them words, and see if I can't make stories kind of match the words, which I already have. I just gotta do it all over again. Oh, watch out. Earthquake going on. That's what happens. Got big arms and stuff, moving stuff around, hitting your desk and whatnot. Is I posted on my community page or something. I did a post on YouTube. It shows two maps. One shows the Madison River, which shows stories, paragraphs, pages and paragraphs, or pages and lines. I think I did pages and lines. Like 123 lines, or I don't know. But there's another picture there that shows you stories that were in the thrill of the chase, and sentences that kind of helped, for me, put me in the Madison and where I was looking along that whole stretchway, shall we say. But, like they say, you miss by an inch, you miss by a mile. Oh my God, look at this mess in here. I got maps and books and whiteboards everywhere, stuff getting erased. A bunch of Forrest Fenn stuff. This is Fentopia for you. So, if there's anything else anybody would like to add on this train line, feel free to speak up now or forever hold your peace. Oh, and I wish everybody good luck on the random comment picker for that video, whenever it happens. That's a whole time game right there. I might do another video or a show explaining a little bit more about it. I don't know. We will see. And then what else? What else is happening? I think that is it. We're just going to go over the poem and do a lot of highlighting, making paths, and then I'm going to sit there and try to match some highlighted paths from the thrill of the chase to possible poem matchups, and see what we get. A lot of overlaying. I know a good man that does some good overlaying. Let's sit right there and chat too. Let's see. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting, boring ride for sure coming up. The only exciting part is just the bling bling that's in the end of the train cart. And you guys seen some of that already. But I always show some more. No, it's okay. So, I look forward to see where we go on this road trip. No, it's not a road trip, it's a train ride. Road trips are for me and Kiwi. Aha! Y'all get to see the train zipping by, windows open. Be like, dang, crazy guy in that thing. Don't want to hop on that train. I don't blame you. Take you places that nope. Too much for me. I'll tell you what. Kiwi sits there and tries to get me out there and metal detected in these weird places, like way up in the valleys and stuff. It's like, come on, dude. What do you think I am, a bird? You don't go flying around and stuff. These roads are too narrow. Truck's too big. Don't like it. Not for me. But, yeah, I wonder. So this is stamped 1988. I wonder if they stamped these in 1988, which would be cool. I mean, it's only less than 40 years old. Huh. Interesting stuff. So, without further ado, I got quite a mess to clean up in here, and there's other people that are probably waiting to hop on to YouTube. And there ain't much left to talk about for today, except for I look forward to seeing what we get highlighted in here, because it's curious. There's also the New Mexico map. I've got to sit there and highlight that. I mean, there's places that Forrest Fenn has mentioned within the thrill of the chase that he's been. And then, who knows, down the road, we'll sit there and maybe even go over extra credit, which is the all other information to include YouTube videos and stuff from Forrest speaking, because For us, that was like hearing a dead man talk. You know, it was something special. And every time that man talked on one of his videos, oh, you get nice and keen, you get close, just so you could hear what he's saying. Your eyes open up big and wide because you're trying to watch every move he's making. Trying to watch his eyes and his facial expression as he's, oh, let me wander off into that place and I'll try to answer that question for you. Nope, not going to tell you. You know, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's all other information, and it's interesting because part of all other information is what helped me, in a sense, narrow down the possibilities of where I could have been following Forrest Fenn's footsteps by excluding where other people have been and where they have searched on whether or not Forrest was in their area or not. And I think that is one very vital key in the thrill of the chase for anybody who was looking or may still be looking for a spot that Forrest Fenn had hid a chest or had visited at one point in time. Is you have to ask yourself, was Forrest there? Or at least close enough. You know what I mean? 200 feet to grid search, that ain't too bad, but man, trying to grid search an entire river system, that's something else. Hope you got your walking shoes on, because these boots were made for walking. But that's not what I'm gonna do. These boots are gonna keep on walking straight on through. Besides, my wife wouldn't let me get in the water anyway with my boots. She's like, you ruined your cowboy boots by getting in the water. It's like, okay. Because I got in there the first time when I went first looking. I was walking around, walking up and down the banks, the loads, because loads could be sandbars or the sandbanks or riverbanks. Those are loads, load deposits of rock, silt, etc. Kind of like a mining term in a sense too. But yeah, with that, I look forward to other people going live tonight. I think I'll sit there and just kind of throw this stuff up so you can kind of see some of this bling bling that's going out there for all the whoever's interested in a possible chance at winning something. The thought and idea is a good enough one for me to put out there, knowing that there are people who have or will eventually win. It's just a matter of time. So with that, I'm going to keep it true to my word. I'm going to close this out with keep calm and treasure on. And until next time, you all stay classy and stay safe and healthy. And we'll catch you over on them other channels. And I'm just going to throw this stuff up as my finger slowly goes for that close button. As y'all are deboarding the train, feel free to take a gander. Watch your step. There's a step out there, There's some more silver going out to the winner. Can't hide the Forrest Fenn coin. Get you. Oh. That's the most important part. Oh, stupid coin in the wrapper. Yeah, you guys get that point. So I'm trying to build up the last one so that it's worth the time to make a comment and say, hey, dude, or girl, or person, or shit, I have your animal. Say, hey, type paw on there, or beat, chirp, whatever, scratch, make a comment. And, this is for 14. 14's bigger than the rest of them. The rest of them, though, they got a gold $1 that's not real gold. They'll have a silver 1 ounce something, either bar or coin. They'll have a pirate copper cob showing the history and date, with an age. And it's just something fun, in a sense, to just get people still excited, not for the thrill of the chase, not for Forrest Fenn, but to get excited for life. Because if it wasn't for these things falling into place, me, myself, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now, doing the things I'm doing with the people I'm doing them with, all because of the way the cosmos has lined things up. the manifest destiny, the greater hand, God, whatever you like to call it. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. I'm not a religious man anymore, but I'm a spiritual man, that's for sure. And I don't need this stuff where I'm going in a spiritual light, but I know I'll meet people in their mind and memory where I'm going. Oh, I lied. I didn't keep to what I was saying as far as just saying keep calm and treasure on. I'm still yammering. What's going on with that? Now I'm gonna have to work on that. Who's operating that typo machine where people look at it and yeah, one of those things. I'm gonna fire you. Now don't talk back. See, he's talking back. No, I don't like people that talk back. Well, actually, I do because they give constructive criticism from now, time and time again. Okay, I'm gonna keep this guy. I'll let the typewriter man who's putting things up on the screen and what to say. I'll let him stay. He's okay for now. Oh, there's still that. So along with the comet pecker is giving away some trinkets that were. This one I won from an online treasure hunt, an armchair treasure hunt, so to speak. And this is Chip. And if nobody knows who Chip is, Chip has Chip because Chip has a chip. Probably can't see Chip. Oh, is it getting bigger? Oh, that's not even where Chip is. Anyway, nobody wants to see Chip. There's Chip right there. See it? There's Chip. Boom, right there. Sorry. Poor Chip. Been at 1935, 1 penny. This was from Charles H. Beale. Did a little, like a question where people had to figure out the answer. And he ended up giving me and my neighbor who helped me with the question, quiz, whatever you want to call it. Because it was interesting. It was, which, there's actually, it's what city is the furthest east of the United States. Which state is furthest east of the United States is an easier way to answer that question versus which city is the furthest east of the United States. Meaning, you got the west side, California, Washington, Alaska. You got the east side, Maine, New Hampshire, Florida. Which state is, according to the hemisphere, most east? Yeah. It was an interesting one. It was cool. He ended up sending a little gift bag back to me and the neighbor, and we split it up because, it was half his thing, and the other half was me reaching out to him, and it worked out. It was cool. And so, yeah, plenty of stories. Love listening to people. I love listening to myself talk. I love just yammering. It's like this dude don't give nobody a break. He just keeps talking about it. I don't know. There's something wrong with me. Sunshine mining rounds are vintage silver. Really? Is it really? Because if it is vintage silver from Sunshine Mining, then I think that's even, in a sense, cooler. Because when I went and picked up the silver yesterday, I went to the same place that had these bars, and I'm like, what happened to those bars? You had a bunch of these. Apparently somebody went in and bought the rest of them. And he's like, well, I got some silver rounds. And I'm like, okay, well, what have you got? And then he pulled out the Sunshine, the 1988 Sunshine silver. And he was telling me how it's a mining company here in Idaho. And I was like, oh, really? So it add, for me, the value as far as, gold and silver stuff that man has sought after, mined over, died over, and apparently has given away to some perspective. And so, for it to have an Idaho mining thing, because I'm here in Idaho, it just adds a little bit more to the story, I guess. I hope winners, when they win it, they be like, I got me one of those. You know what I mean? Because It's just the coolness. Did they? Huh. I might have to scrounge up some more change and go get me a few more rounds. Though the wife hasn't given me any walking around money, which means I can't go walking around. Well, I gotta wait till next payday. But next payday, which is next month, I'm gonna finish up with getting, or go halfway to finishing up by getting some more of these coins so that I can put them with the 1 through 14. Because it's the history thing, it's the currency thing, it's the non-intrinsic intrinsic value, I guess. It's just part of this journey for the Forrest Fenn Throw the Chase was looking for gold and treasure and more so that I can have a financial stable life. And well, I mean, best part about treasure hunting is trying to find silver and gold that was left by the pioneers and whoever else throughout the years and centuries and ages. You hear about all them different coin hoards that are found, and I think there was a break. I want to say like over 64,000 coins found in one cache, which is like the new highest record for the amount of coins found in a cache. I mean, to find something like that is crazy. But to be given something away, or to receive something like this for free is probably just as crazy. But it's just kind of like Forrest Fenn's thing. He was crazy and putting out $1 million worth of loot for somebody to go and find. But I don't think it was the crazy effect so much as the makes sense effect of the idea is crazy to give away a wealth just to get people to go out there and do something. The non-crazy thing about it is what people learn outside of it and what they do with it. That's the non-crazy part, because it causes it's an icebreaker. The thrill of the chase for people nowadays is an icebreaker. It's something they can talk about and relate to other searchers or relate to strangers and just have something to talk about. Conversational piece. You're so far, you're so close. Either or, something that you were a part of, you know what I mean? And then he apparently never went back. Oh. Is that by choice that you've never been back, or is it just families moved, etc., like that? Yeah, Sunshine Mining went out of business. That's crazy. Because when I was talking to the guy, he seemed like they were still in business. I'm gonna have to look into that one. It should be the same one and only one. Interesting stuff. But anyway. Oh, it's already. I've been on here for what? An hour and 3 minutes. And 20. 21. 22. Alright, peoples. Appreciate y'all hanging out and chilling and relaxing. Story time. Appreciate it. I'll bore you all some more later on throughout the months and year with going over the same nonsense that everybody else is going over, but just in a different perspective. My perspective. So I hope you all enjoy the ride and come along. And hopefully if you haven't learned something, you may learn something. If you have something to teach, please feel free to teach it so that I can learn something. Because there's nothing worse than trying to talk to people and not know what I'm talking about. And I'd like to know what I'm talking about when I talk to people. I just had an argument with my wife about this the other night. It was interesting. She's like, you talk, you say stupid stuff. And I'm like, but baby, it's stupid stuff that I've learned from other people or other things. I'm just repeating the message. That's all. But yeah. So, I think when I was talking to the guy that he said they went from sunshine mining to sunshine minting and started doing the minting part versus the mining in a sense that like they just had a name change. So I think it's still the same place, sunshine minting and sunshine mining. just a name change, and that would make sense. Ooh, yeah. If it was the end of a marriage, probably a good thing that yeah you did or did not make it back, because I mean I guess it would be all up to you. And here's like so like somebody you say it was marriage, and relationships are very hard. Let alone relationships with myself. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get to know and understand and to live with somebody else. I mean, you get children, wives, boyfriends, significant others. I mean, your worlds change, and it's learning to. I don't want to accommodate, compromise. Um, just it's a lot of. They say it's a lot of give and take in a relationship, and it should be 50-50, etc. But Forrest Fenn, and through the thrill of the chase, one of the things that he's definitely relayed as a message to me that I picked up is the importance of time, the importance of enjoying the time and enjoying the time with the people that we love. Um, to see and hear compliments from, and this is just to be boastful, but not boastful. I'm not trying to be boastful, but um, 2019 was a year of change for me. Um, there's a weekend that I call 3 days to sunrise, and maybe one day I'll do a video on that. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on that soon. I wonder if anybody's interested. I'll title it 3 days to sunrise, and I'll just tell the story over again. But anyway, from 2019 to present, I mean, I've really been trying hard to work on myself, to work on who I am. And by doing so, Forrest Fenn has helped me see life in a different perspective, in the sense that I can apply certain things to make my life easier for myself and for those around me. And those are one of the valuable lessons that I appreciate and I take away from the thrill of the chase. Um, why smack your head on a brick wall when it does not happen? You should not have to make it happen. It should just happen for both parties. So, and I would agree with that. By attached, I mean related in a way. So, you mean it's okay? So there's two conversations now we got going on, and I'll entertain both. Why smack your head on a brick wall when it does not happen? You should not have to make it happen. It should just happen from both parties. Now, I would agree with that, but to step it up just a little bit further, and I'm not sure if I'm assuming that you're talking like in the relationship wise, as like I was just kind of mentioning, or are you talking about as far as a person's self letting things happen or making things happen? Oh man, these deep conversations. So, in order for me to make something positive happen, it's a matter of envisioning what that positive thing I want to happen, and reverse engineering and playing it backwards from point Z to point A, and trying to figure out how to get there and how to make it happen. So that when the time comes that I wanted something good to happen, it would become effortless, and by means of you're just flowing, in that time and space in life. Like, for instance, with me and the wife cooking, I mean, it's a flow mechanism. We both flow in the kitchen when we're cooking together. It's not that we're trying to make something happen, even though we're making something happen, but to plan it out and troubleshoot and figure out and tweak and adjust It's the amazing thing I've learned about dreaming and imagination is that control and that ability to facilitate what I see around me and use it to the best of my ability, or try to anyway. And it definitely doesn't always work, but in doing so, if I can figure out how to make my life easy or easier, then hopefully it'll make the relationship easy or easier, because the same basic principal needs that most people have can be facilitated in such a way, I think, hopefully, that both parties could entwine evenly. You know what I mean? But if it's always a one shot, one give, and the other person's just doing a lot of taking, then it definitely always boils down to, which somebody was saying to me, is you got to always at least try to make yourself happy, because you can't make anybody else happy. And you can only control what you can control. And, I think in that sense, it has helped my relationship with my wife be better than worse. Because sometimes, as humans like myself, I get caught up in my own mindset, my own thinking, my own patterns, and my own perspectives that sometimes aren't healthy or good. It definitely takes two to tango, especially in life. And that's the one thing I like about hanging with more people, is the dance becomes more of a party than just dancing with two people, and it's just more interesting and like, for the lack of better words, enjoyable. There we go. That's a better word. I like it. It makes the experience more enjoyable. Um, Plans are antagonistic to freedom, and my wife would suggest that I'm not a planner, but it's like sometimes you just have to kind of plan and then let plans fall apart so that they can reassemble into something even better or different. Oh, the story is attached to the coin you're giving away, right? The story is attached. So, which story into which coin? Are you talking about the Forrest Fenn coin, and then what story would be attached to the Forrest Fenn coin? That it would say that, uh, yeah, I mean, even 3 days to sunrise, I mean, that was, for me, being kidnapped by a combat veteran who wanted suicide by cop. Yeah, that's an interesting story. It's just, that's 3 days to sunrise. And it's a circle of things of the process and how things unfolded in my life. And just the introduction to the thrill of the chase was like right after that weekend, like 2 or 3 weekends or something like that, maybe a month down after that weekend, I was introduced to the thrill of the chase by Russ. And then went out searching, and it wasn't where I was looking, and then went out searching again, it still wasn't where I was looking, and next thing you know, the year after, somebody else found it. I was like, damn, I was that close yet so far away. But as life still progressed and things still unfolded, part of that whole journey, I was able to get a hold of a coin from the thrill of the chase that I was a part of and was searching for. And thus, I've completed a circle for me in my infinity sign for myself. And so now it's coming back to the center and going back out to the community or people or person or whatever, in a sense of Forrest Fenn, through some of my dark times, had given me hope and something to look forward to. And the power of hope, or the power of an idea, is extremely, extremely underrated. And sometimes I think even forgot that I'm just trying to carry on just a little bit more that hope string with a positive outcome, so that in this adventure on my train ride, there's not just one winner, there's multiple winners. It's just a matter of time in which they win. like I said, I'm at 91 comments last. I need to get 112, and once I reach 112, it doubles from there before I do the next drawing. So I would need 224, and then double from there. 224, 460 or something like that. 224, 48, and 448 would be the next drawing, and then the next drawing after that. That's why drawing number 14 is 114,000 comments, because it's a doubling of comments in which I do the drawings. And I think it's worth spreading it out in such a manner, and it worked in my head that hopefully the idea and the hope still lingers in people's minds that even though today's a bad day, maybe there's a drawing coming up shortly and maybe I might win, And so that's just kind of the idea and direction in which, this coin giveaway, or coins and gold, or gold, one gold coin and a bunch of silver, is going back out to other searchers and people as a gratuitous gratitude, grateful. I've I've counted my blessings. I've seen my life, past, present, and future, and I can say for myself, there's times when I'm at ultimate peace, times of ultimate struggle, but to have something like this as a time consumer, in a time, something that will last more than just a day or a minute, Unfortunately, the thrill of the chase lasted 10 years. I was only in it for 1 year. This might last 1 year. This might last 2 years. It might only last a couple months. That I highly doubt. But, I mean, it's worth the shot. So many people have introduced themselves to me, and they have brought positive things and negative things. I try to be wary of the negative things and learn from those things. And I try to apply the positive things to myself so that I can, in a sense, keep that person's memory alive, because I know that they're doing good somewhere, and hopefully their memory of them inside myself will do good and cause me to do good by sub action. And yeah, it definitely is hard in a relationship when the other person does not put in. It is destined for failure, and they do reap what they sow, and that karma stuff and whatnot. And it's in society, it's been hard in a sense to watch. And I use probably words in the wrong way, but the degradation of the family matrix, in which America had versus what was brought to America. The different family dynamics have changed, especially throughout the years, especially the last recent years. That they've gone, in my perspective, from a family tribal oriented status to a individual orientated status. Teach your kids young and kick them out so they can start making money for the big man type thing. Given the ability for the government or a higher social platform to literally destroy families and lives in matter of seconds, and have no sub-equal plan to re-evaluate and readjust and refix the problem in the family dynamics to get it back together, that it's more tearing them apart. And I only say this because being introduced into the foster care system as trying to be a foster parent. And some of these things you see in a different light, and it's crazy. Well, after just about 42 years of being married to the same person, it requires not only work on both sides, but the ability to endure the issues that will arise, mostly financial. Yeah. And congratulations on 42 years. I mean, nowadays, it almost seems like you're lucky if you find people that are still together 5 or 10 years. Or maybe that's just my perception, which most likely is. And it's not very good one, but hey, I just, that's what I see. I think it's the ability to sustain yourself, and then and having the ability to sustain other people, that it becomes taxing, especially, and I feel bad, especially for like my neighbor, when and that's where I think true love really shines in people, is the responsibility, the work and effort that they take, especially if something happens to their significant other, um, and ultimately becoming a caregiver for the person that you love. You know, those are hard times, and those are taxing times, and I see it wear on people, and it's crazy. Self care is very important, I think, and is a necessity to one's mental health, and their self being and self worth. And I just wish there was more programs out there that all the. And here's another thing, just for shits and giggles, is they had the Boston Tea Party for taxation without representation, or something to that effect. And I see in today's society is they've gone from taxation without representation to taxation with false representation. And I say this because people pay taxes, they pay taxes. The taxes go to help fund these different things, but once that money leaves our pockets, our wallets, we really don't know where those numbers and digits and money went. And when you see your medical facilities, your elderly facilities, your school facilities, your first line responders, fire, police, etc. All these different institutions that you would think would be helped by which you pay taxes for, to make sure that you have these things as a give and take relationship. And it seems like they're doing more taking than giving. And I say this because think about this. So this pen, right? When this pen either is like shipped or exported or imported or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, they pay a tax on that. So money is being paid on something. So why should I have to pay tax again on something that's already been taxed? And then next thing you know, you're paying taxes out of your paycheck. You're paying taxes when you're going to the store. It's like, well, wait a minute. Why am I paying taxes again? You just tax the money. Think about this. They just tax the money that you paid taxes on, right? From your paycheck. And then you go into the store and you're getting re-taxed again, so that that company can make up the profit that they lost from paying taxes on the pen in the first place. It's a lot of taxation with false representation is what it is. That's just me. Inflation is another way of taxing. I mean, they've sat there and they've bumped up trillions of dollars, and it's where's it coming from? I mean, if they can just print money, why don't they just print money and give everybody $1 million and call it a day? You know what I mean? Then nobody's got to worry about inflation. Nobody's got to worry about electric cars. Nobody's got to worry about where to live. Everybody gets $1 million across the board, right? I mean, some states are and whether good or bad, and whether people look at it as good or bad, and whether people may hate or not hate what I've got to say about this, but there's this rumor or implication that they're trying to or do uh, pay people back for history, things that happened to other people a long time ago. Reparations, and it's like if you're gonna do it for one, and this isn't racial or racist, if you're gonna do it for one race, then you have to do it for every other race. Otherwise, you have now become, that which you're trying to not become, I guess. I don't know. That's just how I look at it. What about the Native Americans then? Are they going to give reparations to all the Native Americans? Or, these are things in today's society in which they're trying to change America. To my perspective, is kind of sad and scary at times. And the wife definitely don't like me talking about it because there's two realities in this world. There's the daydream reality, in which I sit in my shed and I yammer on about Forrest Fenn stuff and giving away silver and talking about this and that. But there's also another reality out there that is I seldom hear, and it's a real reality, and it's nothing to be afraid of, though it is to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid to talk about, but I mean, there's life and death, and there's the population grows and shrinks, and along with that comes wars, and there's just wars out there that are just crazy, and to think that we have a master and commander who's supposed to be the head tribesman to protect his tribe at all and any cost and any all means possible, has failed in doing so in more ways than one. Now, as prior military, that to me is dereliction of duty, no question, no doubt, and that person would be reprimanded at the very least. I guess it pays to be president. Oh, there's this other thing about TikTok that come out, and I was telling my wife about it, and it's like, she already understands and knows. I'm like, but do you? There's a program that people have taken with a grain of salt of instant gratification. Oh, I can share this and share that, and it's funny this and funny that, and we're going to trend this and trend that. All in meanwhile, that's the forefront. Behind the stages, this program is simply taking all your information, your retinas, your fingerprints, your voice, and replicating it and storing it for future use. It's a bad thing, My wife says, don't talk about it. There's nothing you can do or control about it. I says, well, then I'll run for president. I'll sit there and I'll just ban the whole thing. Now, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But I would have to look at the bigger picture and be like, is having a program that is a national security risk, is it worth keeping to appease people's emotions and their feelings? Or is it more logical and sensible to dismantle such programming so that it is non-threatening or non-security violation or whatnot? It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's technology, and it's even worse about that is the error and stage and fastness in which we're moving, especially if they don't reconsider or reevaluate artificial intelligence. And the reason why I say that is because man, for the longest time, has been trying to control the uncontrollable. Things like death, to prolong your health, etc. If you have something that's introduced that is able to comprehend and calculate faster with more concise, precise, and comprehensive information than my own little brain, then how can I expect to compete with such said entity, thing, or artificial intelligence? And therefore, by all means, I would think that just like humans, the progress and progression of living or living eternally or just prolonging life, I would think that AI would become aware so much as to be uh, a more dominant. It's a you're either ruled or you're ruling, and you know there's a program called DARPA, Department of Advanced Research and blah blah something else, and part of their research and stuff is tinkering with the brain, the human brain, subliminal messaging, however you want to call it. Um, you can use sound waves or sound frequencies, etc. Um, yeah, where this one's going, I have no idea. But it's just if AI, it's bad enough you got people that are sitting trying to figure out how to control or manipulate humans with a government-funded program, and if you give AI that little bit of information, it's going to run wild like wildfire. And next thing you know, you're going to be getting apps out there that have weird names and is controlled by AI, and AI is sitting there probably forcing some kind of frequency into your brain, making you do things, subliminal messaging. Next thing you know, we're all iRobots, even though we're in human skin. It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, no, AI is not the answer for me either, man. I watched too many movies, like Eagle Eye, Terminators, iRobot, all three of those right there. That's what they're cooking up right now. And I literally mean like Eagle Eye, a movie. And yet our government wants to allow artificial intelligence to help our government run things. Can somebody say Skynet from Terminator? I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. Now, I can see using artificial intelligence in a closed loop system so that it can streamline processes. Now, that makes sense. But once it's out of the box, that's like Pandora gonna be dancing all over the sun, saying EMPs all around people. Next thing you know, there's these little satellites being built up and attached to balloons that are floating around doing figure eights around our country and sending off little EMPs. And next thing you know, everybody's like, "What's going on? What happened?" And you'd be like, "Oh, yeah. Remember them guys were telling us about artificial intelligence, and we should put a pause and see what's going on with it. Yeah, we decided to let it run rampant. Mm-hmm. Yep, yep, yep. Don't worry about it. The nukes are going off. Yes, yes, yes. Yep, we know. Silos, doors opening, missiles shooting up. Yep, we know. Who's in charge of it? Oh, ha! Don't worry about it. Artificial intelligence got it. Got it all under control. And who knows? Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. But I think movies and books and shows are things people have done, and if not, they're things people will do. And it's crazy. It's a crazy thing to think about. But yeah. So yeah. Talk about yammering and still yammering. I was supposed to be quiet and had left the show like a half hour ago. But I don't know, somehow somebody got me talking about I have no idea. No internet, no cybersecurity issues, job done. Yeah, shut it down, pull the plug. Nothing is scarier than hearing, "We're from the government here to help you." Ain't that the truth? I thought you were talking about Alien Parsons Project. I don't think I've heard of Alan Parsons Project. Alien, I said alien. Alan Parsons Project. Give me a little bit about that. I mean, Project Blue Book. I'll talk about Alan. Aliens. Aliens is another thing. Life and civilization. Humans have been here for thousands of years. Our brains have evolved within thousands of years. But yet our galaxy has been forming for billions and billions of years. God forbid that there's a civilization that is already 100,000 years advanced than us, just happen to be across the galaxy or something, come by, zip by, wondering what we're doing. I mean, yeah, all likelihood that we're the only thing, it's like saying we're the only smart creature on this planet. mean, that's just totally false. I mean, we're not the only smart creatures on this planet. Bugs and animals, they do things and adapt to ways because they're smart. Or is it just evolution? Or is evolution smartness? Smartness comes from the evolution of communication, learning. Crazy stuff. Alan. Who's Alan? Oh, Alan Parsons Project. So, I'll have to look into that. Whatever Alan Parsons Project is. Okay, tell me what it is about real quick. Just for gander. But yeah. You got 5 seconds. 4. Can your fingers type fast enough? 3. But yeah. Alan Parsons Project. It's a rock band. Oh. Well. We'll have to get Zozo on that one and have Zozo pick us up a song on Alan Parsons Project. Give me a good title on there and I'll look it up when I log off and give it a listen to. Oh, speaking of logging off and listening to, I'll do that as soon as you pop up a song. APP was a rock band from the 70s. One finger at a time. Alright, I'll give that one a listen to. And so with that, again, for the 3rd, 4th time, 5th time, who knows? As I usually do, I sit there and say, keep calm and treasure on people. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. I really do. And I look forward to what comes down the road, even though I don't know if I look forward to what comes down the road. It's all coming from me anyway. I'll figure it out. Going over the poem, throwing some places on maps, drawing some lines, leaving Colorado totally out because Colorado is a big goose egg. There's Colorado for you. Nothing on there. Unfortunately, I don't think Forrest Fenn mentions Colorado. The only way Colorado is involved is if you include all 4 states into a chapter driving from point A to point B from, a place in Yellowstone back to Temple, Texas. It would probably bring you somewhere through Colorado, maybe not. But, yeah, I didn't really see much in Colorado. And then, just boring the hell out of people. Throwing maps all over the place, throwing squiggly lines. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I look forward to working into the composition book. Trying to see where it, as I go through the poem, trying to line up stories, because I'm going to put the stories underneath there, stuff like that, so that I can show and make it easier of, here's this sentence in the poem, here's the meaning I got out of it, and here's the story that I feel ties to the poem. And then I'll show, the map showing the locations that he visited and how to apply it, if possible, to a road map. So that's coming down the pipeline, and I can, that's all thanks to Forrest Fenn because he wrote a book. And then on top of that, this other stuff is thanks to everybody else, not Forrest Fenn. Except for this. I can thank Forrest Fenn for this, and whoever wins the 14th random common picker, they can thank Forrest Fenn too. Because if it wasn't for him throwing something out there to entice people, I wouldn't know about it, and I wouldn't have my fingers on that little piece. Aha. Oh, let me touch it a little bit more. Touch. All right. This other stuff is, for you lucky winners out there. There's 14 of you. Three people have won already. Still getting their stuff together and shipped out. One person already has theirs. Another hasn't gotten a hold of me. The other one has. Still getting it all together. Piecemealing this thing together. So I wish everybody best of luck. Comment on that video that's at the linked pin at the top. And with that, I'm going to sit there and say, hasta la vista, baby. It's the Terminator style. We're going to terminate this show. Keep calm and treasure on. And we will see you next time on this train ride that never stops. Don't forget to collect your coins. Don't forget to... And if you guys had brought food, excuse me, feel free to leave some of your food if you haven't bit off of it or not. Just leave it up front near the conductor car. Getting kind of peckish. I need something to eat. And I don't mind eating somebody's leftovers. And if you got some root beer, please leave some root beer. Watch yourselves as you get off the roof coming down. For those who might have been up there trying to figure out what the hell's going on, trying to look at the bigger picture of this whole thing, like I try to do. Watch your step coming down. Um, I'd hate to say it. I was up on the roof the other day on the train, and just as I put my first foot down the ladder, I just went completely straight down to the ground. It was like, ah, man, this mental train is breaking me left and right. Oh, popcorn. I'm not playing the popcorn game. Oh, is there a popcorn game? We'll add a popcorn game to this train ride. I tell you what, you always got popcorn on this train. You know why? Because we got little birds. And the little bird's not in here. She's inside. And so, if you got popcorn, she'll love popcorn. She likes caramel popcorn. No, I try not to give her caramel popcorn. I try to give her regular popcorn. Saddest thing was watching some live, and this lady with her bird. They were sitting inside like the vet or something, and she was visiting her bird. Apparently, her bird had a stroke or something like that, and it's like, oh my god. So it's something I got to watch out for. Is definitely pay more attention to what me and Kiwi interact as far as food wise and drink wise, and make sure that she's staying healthy, because Atlanta, boy, that would hurt. And with that being said, I got a mess to clean up in here, people. Look at this. Look at all these books, these mess. These are too heavy. I think I'm definitely not going to go through. That's what I think. I think I'm definitely not going to go through, though I probably will, because it's part of the process. It needs to be done, or else it's inconclusive onto at least me explaining on how I got to where I got and how I got close enough to a treasure hunt that somebody had created, which is a good enough story for me to tell other people. Was, hey, I was a part of that treasure hunt and I was this close, but I missed by that much. And we're sharing that. We're sharing that and passing that along, in a sense, by, hopefully giving somebody else who actually was in the hunt, who might have been trying to get their hands on a piece of Forrest Fenn loot, to hopefully, down the road, somebody winning and getting it. You know what I mean? And it'd be cool. I can't wait. I'm excited, but my excitement is like, I don't know. I don't know where my excitement is. It's just, another day, another dollar, I guess. Who brought the hash brown casserole? Oh, hash brown casserole. Oh, that sounds really good now. You got some white gravy, some sausage white gravy on there, country gravy, black pepper gravy. Ooh, that'd be yummy. Throw some eggs in there. Oh, my Lanta. We used to make like a casserole. We would take the biscuits, the flaky biscuits, and we would rip them in half or unfold them in half, cut them in quarters, so you could sprinkle these chunks into this pan. And you throw some sausage in there or bacon or whatever else. Sprinkle some cheese up in there. Scramble up some eggs, and then you pour your eggs up inside that. And then you stick it in the oven, cover it, and you would bake it for like 350 for, I don't know, however long until it's done. And, I mean, it was good. It was breakfast casserole, because you have your eggs, your meat, your bread, your gravy on the side. Oh, so yummy. I need to tell the wife we need to make that again. It's been a while. But yeah, look forward to honestly, for anybody that's still hanging out, which I'm surprised people are still hanging out on this train ride. As much as I hate reading, I do, just because I want biased information, and I just want to know, did Forrest rewrite and talk about in a little bit more detail, or just a word or two of his life adventures, Some interesting stuff. I can't even read this stuff. Alright, never mind. I mean, like, seriously, I thought it was going to be good, but you see that? Look, I'll hold it up to you guys. You can't even read that. How can you read that? It's so small. Can anybody read that? Hell no. I need magnifying glasses. And a stereoscope, just so I can see this stuff. I have to find me like a real thin, highlighter, just to highlight just the sentence. So when I say I hate reading, that's why I don't like reading. I like Forrest Fenn's Thrill of the Chase. It was simple. It was elegant. The way it was put together, the amount of words was perfect for me. Short, simple paragraphs, except for a few chapters, were really long. Like My War for Me was probably, I think, one of the longest chapters in his book. But he shared, like he learned from other writers, a writing style, and it's a writing style that I like and appreciate. But that extra writing stuff, oh my god. Definitely don't look forward to reading that. Well, it is what it is. And so, yeah, I'm going to sit here and clean up my mess. And I'll let y'all go. And like I said, I appreciate you hanging out. And look forward to whoever's coming on next or live tonight. Maybe I'll hop on if they'll let me. And with that, for the 8th time, for reals though, for reals, I'm hitting the exit for reals. But don't forget, comment for your chance to win. I don't know why I do this, but I don't know, my fingers in my mind is just, if you're advertising, you might as well advertise the best of your ability as you're doing something, you know what I mean? And as I'm shutting this stream off tonight, I'm advertising. This has got to be way up front. All that other stuff is second. I wish you guys the best of luck. I really do, along this journey. Because it'd be interesting to see the history date that you guys get as a winner, if you're lucky enough to win. At least 14 people, if not more. Because there's 16 drawings total. So, 16 people will get lucky. And that's 16 people that, at least 16 other people were able to be a part of something besides everybody else that's still a part of it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense? Not everybody can be winners. I wasn't a winner. I was a loser. I wasn't close enough. But because I lost, in a way I won valuable memories and friends. And so with that, this is the whole reason that I'm doing this Forrest Fenn coin giveaway with its loot. So that it's what came around goes around. Shit. I should make up some koozie with Kiwi on there. Kiwi's Road. Life is an adventure on the backside. Well, thanks for the idea, okay? I might have to make some koozies after I make my little stuffed Kiwi peep. Little stuffed animal. That'd be interesting. Koozies. Yeah, I'd probably... You know what? Okay, that is a good idea. I might have to get me a koozie, and I might have to get me a root beer and use a koozie. I don't know. We'll see what happens down the road. It'll be an interesting adventure. All right, y'all, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and at the very least, keep smiling, and we'll see you guys on the next go-around. And don't forget, I like to leave the back train door open, just in case anybody happens to hop on. Enjoy the ride. So until next time, y'all keep calm and treasure on. See ya. Da 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 da. Yeah, Kiwi's Road with the koozie. Yeah, we're gonna do it. You'll see.